if you're ready, let's begin. On that night, when the heat of Mecca cooled down, the day was Monday, in the year 571. The quiet streets of Mecca were about to witness one of the greatest events in human history. Abdul Muttalib had been waiting for this moment for a long time, and finally he received the joyful news.
Amina has given birth to a baby boy.
His heart was about to burst with excitement. Ever since his son Abdullah had passed away, his love and care for the baby that his daughter-in-law Amina was carrying had grown even stronger. Just imagine that night. Abdul Muttalib rushes home, gently holds his newborn grandson in his arms, and walks towards the Kaaba. He gives thanks to his Lord, prays to him, and names the baby Muhammad.
Why did you choose this name?
Because I want Allah and people to praise Him.
This name had been told to Amina in a dream, and when she shared this with Abdul Muttalib, he decided to give that name. Giving birth safely to the trust, Amana left by her husband Abdullah brought Amina great peace and comfort. Back then in Mecca, it was a common tradition to send babies to wet nurses, women who would breastfeed and take care of them, so that they could stay away from Mecca's harsh climate for some time. Of course, being separated from her newborn baby was very hard for a mother, but there were two important reasons for this. The first reason was the baby's health. As we said, the climate in Mecca was not ideal for newborns. And the second reason was to help the child develop strong language and speaking skills. In those times, eloquence and effective communication were at the heart of Arab society. Babies were sent to the land of Banu Sa'd, where they could grow up freely in the deserts and open plains and learn Arabic in its purest and most beautiful form. Wet nurses from that region were usually looking for babies from wealthy and noble families, because through this relationship, she would form a bond with the baby's family, and as long as the father was alive, she could continue to receive kindness and support from them. The Prophet ﷺ was also from a noble family. His grandfather Abdul Muttalib was the political leader of Mecca, but he was old, and the Prophet's father had passed away before he was even born. And since he was an orphan, none of the wet nurses were willing to accept Amina's baby. So what would happen now? Was no one going to take him? Would he have to grow in this city with this harsh climate? Amina was standing there helplessly, watching as the wet nurses took the babies one by one and left Mecca behind. Meanwhile, a couple named Halima and Haris had arrived later than the others. Because their animal was weak and old, they had to take turns riding it, so they couldn't make it on time. Halima searched and searched, but she couldn't find anyone in Mecca who would give her their baby. On top of all the trouble she went through to get there, now she was going to return home empty-handed. There was also a famine in their land, and they were having a hard time even feeding themselves. All these troubles coming one after another made her really upset. As she was overwhelmed with all these thoughts, she suddenly came across someone. It was Abdul Muttalib. After they talked for a while, she found out about his grandson's situation. She then asked her husband Haris what he thought.
I couldn't find a baby to nurse, and I don't want to return empty-handed in front of the others.
There is no harm in taking him. Perhaps Allah will grant us blessings and goodness because of him.
The greatest blessings had appeared right in front of her when she least expected it. But Halima still had no idea how priceless a treasure she had just found. On the other hand, think about Amina's situation. She had already lost her dear husband and couldn't put their baby in his arms even once. And now, on top of all that, she was about to part with her child too. But she had no other choice. With tears in her eyes, she handed over Abdullah's trust, her Muhammad, to Halima. She was going to be away from her son for a very long time. She wouldn't be able to smell his scent or hold him in her arms. She wouldn't be there to witness his first steps or hear his first words. For a mother, even being apart from her baby for just 1 hour is so painful. But for her child's future, she accepted being separated from him for so long. Her heart was in pieces. As for Halima and her family, a brand new life was about to begin. With the arrival of the Prophet ﷺ, their home was filled with blessings and abundance. things happened that no one could believe. Their old and weak riding animal suddenly became stronger and faster. Halima used to have very little milk, but once she began to breastfeed the Prophet, her milk started flowing abundantly. Her newborn baby Abdullah was often restless and cried a lot, but when he started nursing alongside the Prophet, he calmed down too. Their animals that used to return hungry because of the famine and drought in the area were now finding food and giving plenty of milk. Their home was full of barakah, while the surrounding areas were still suffering from famine. During this time, the Prophet grew very well, both physically, mentally, and spiritually. Finally, 4 blessed years came to an end. The time had come. They had to return the Prophet ﷺ to his mother. Halima couldn't hold back her tears. She didn't want to part with him. She hugged him, kissed him over and over again, but she had no other choice. After a long separation, Amina and her son were finally together again. Now, whenever she wanted to hold his hand, he was right beside her. They held each other tight, like they were trying to make up for every single day they had been apart. They never wanted to be separated again. This reunion helped ease the pain of those long, difficult years.